Well, good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever it is for you out there in the world. Welcome to Rejoicing Bones. I've got what I think is going to be the best Rejoicing Bones video to date. It's about my favorite subject, how we find joy even in difficult circumstances. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's the underlying principle. It's in the Bible. I'll show you where. Yes, that's right. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's in the Bible, and I really was thinking about this saying the other day because I was having a rough time, and I was thinking about that saying, "Don't sweat the small stuff." I heard it a long time ago, decades ago, and I thought it was something that some hero said, like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something in a Die Hard movie. Don't sweat the small stuff. And then, of course, the next thing you say is everything small stuff. And I just think that's really true. And here as a Christian, I really do think it's a biblical principle. Oh, by the way, it wasn't some sort of action hero. It was actually Richard Carlson. He is a psychotherapist, and he wrote the book that's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, Everything Small Stuff, or It's All Small Stuff. And I didn't know that. I don't know that's where they came from. I think he might have maybe borrowed the phrase himself. I'm not sure. If you know, go ahead and stick something down in the comments and let me know. But regardless of where it comes from, I think it's just an amazing statement. Don't sweat the small stuff. You're going through your day, you're doing this, you're doing that, and something irritates you, traffic or whatever it is. It's all small stuff. Then you get into some bigger situations in your life. We'll get to that here in a second. But where is it in the Bible? Well, you'll see. So this is where it is in the Bible. It's in Second Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal weight and glory that far outweighs them all. I think that's the NIV. I want to show you a different version in a second because I think it's a bit significant. I read the NIV every day myself. It's my sort of daily reading Bible. But sometimes I think the way they'll translate with that dynamic equivalent into modern English, sometimes it loses a bit of oomph to it. And so I'm looking at these verses. I wanted to capture as much of the passage as I could here. But when you're reading Paul's epistles, you can go so far back and so far forward and get even better context, but I just got to keep it short. So here I'm going to start at verse 16. So we do not lose heart, though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light and momentary affliction, and I like affliction a bit better than troubles, like the other translation, is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal. That's all wonderful stuff. Yes, our outer selves are wasting away. When I have a motorcycle accident, that process seems to have accelerated. Sometimes I feel like by 20 years or so. But everybody goes through the same thing. We have disease, we have illnesses and death, and our outward selves are wasting away day by day. But inside, we're being renewed. What are we being renewed by? The fact that our light and momentary afflictions are preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. Now, what's the comparison here? Well, we're comparing the weight of glory, and you can see here on my fancy scale, the weight of glory is heavy. It's infinitely heavy, huge, impossible. Glory is kind of a tricky sort of subject, but I heard someone say glory is like the word beauty. You can't define it itself, but you know it when you see it. And it's that sort of thing. God's glory, brightness, holiness, all things that he is, and things that we will share in when we go to be with him and are resurrected. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So what does the weight of glory outweigh? Well, it outweighs our momentary afflictions. It had a lot to do with persecution when Paul was writing this, but also we could be sicknesses. That happens. You can see that in some of the epistles when some of Paul's associates were ill, job loss, injuries. I've already talked about that a little bit. Death, and even death. Remember in Philippians when Paul says that he can't wait to be with Christ. He knows it's far better, but he knows it's good for the church to stay alive if that's what the Lord wills. So that's what we're talking about. No matter what is going on in your life, if it's one of these things on this list in that stack of weights, or if it's something else that's got you going, just trust me that this is nothing compared to the glory that awaits us and the joy that awaits us with our Father in heaven forever and ever and ever. Speaking of that, verse 18 there, that eternal word is so important. Our light and momentary afflictions are really put into perspective if we remember during them that eternity is so much longer than the few years or decades we might suffer here. So that's what I got for you today. I hope that you enjoyed that. Don't sweat the small stuff. The small stuff are the light and momentary afflictions, but it's outweighed so much more by our future in heaven with our Lord. I hope that you have him as your Lord. This won't make much sense to you if you don't, and it won't be something to be looking forward to. So I encourage you to explore that as well as we go into future videos together. We'll check you later. Be joyful. Be restored. Over and out.